Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories where I go with them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today I got your story titled, My Wife Baby Trapped Me. And a shout out to Pablo for sending this in. And guys, this story is about a guy, a husband and father, who thought he had a great life on all fronts. And then got all messed up because guess what? His wife was determined to have another child. Already he has two, a boy and a girl. Everything's good, comfortable life. Nope, she wanted another one. And guess what? Literally, she said it was a miracle from heaven that she got pregnant with another one. Well, you're going to find out it was all on purpose. And unlike a lot of guys out there that would just accept it and be like, okay, happy life, happy wife. Nope, she's done. She's toast. He's getting rid of her. And it ain't easy for him. He's struggling, but he's getting rid of her. And I'll be going to go over here, guys, a couple points here. Guess what? They pull this nonsense. You must be careful. Always provide your protection, always wear protection, and dispose your protection. And don't buy they're on the pill. Because if they want to, get pregnant for whatever reason, whether it's your wife and she wants to have another kid and you don't want another kid, they can pull this stunt. It's a girlfriend and she wants you to propose, but you're not doing it yet. Well, all of a sudden, it's a miracle. Now most guys are going to propose. You don't want a kid, handle things right. Otherwise, this can happen. And, oh, by the way, yes, even though this guy's married with kids with her, doesn't mean you got to stay with her, because how can you trust somebody that would pull that kind of crap? But this guy, as you can imagine, is getting a lot of hate in the comment section, but it is what it is. So it starts off, says here, I put baby trap in quotation marks because I'm not sure what she did is the actual definition of baby trap. She didn't have a kid to make me stay, just against my will. So my wife, a 32-year-old female, and I, a 34-year-old male, have been together for 8 years. We have a little girl together, 5 years old, and a baby boy, 2. I love both of them more than anything, and I finally feel like I have everything. A beautiful wife, 2 healthy kids, a great career, a big house, the token American dream, minus a dog. I'm allergic. Okay, so what can go wrong? Well, we all know somebody has to go screw the whole thing up. When we talked about kids before, my wife always said she wanted 2 children. I only wanted 1. It would be easier and we'd have more money for vacations and stuff like that, but my wife maintained it's important for a child to have a sibling. I grew up with 4 and my wife with none, so I guess I understand where she's coming from. It's all perspective. Everybody's different. I know only children that were happy being only children. I know only children that wanted to have siblings. Depends. Well, after our son and getting through the baby years and sleepless nights for the second time, I didn't want to ever go through that again. Both kids were very fussy and cliquey. But when he was a year old, my wife began casually mentioning a 3rd child. Of course she did. Bait and switch, baby. There you go. I would laugh it off, but finally she sat me down one day and said, we have to have a 3rd. I said no, we agreed on 2. But she said she wanted 4 and 3 is a compromise. No, it's not. He wanted 1. Okay, What, 2.5? Gonna have a midget or something? I refused and said that I wanted 1 and we had 2. She got angry and called me selfish for taking away her dream of wanting a big family. You knew how I felt when we got married. I mean, it's clear as day. And I compromised on that whole 1 thing. So stop whining. If you didn't like that, you shouldn't have married me. Well, guys, in situations like that, you can already see there are issues here. And at this point, no man should ever believe if their wife is really laying it on thick about that she's actually on the pill. And if you're using condoms, good God Almighty, you need to lock that in a safe that's equivalent to like Fort Knox, because she's going to get to them. And watch this. Well, a couple days later, she apologized and we had you-know-what. Sucker, she got you. I noticed her drive increased exponentially, but so did mine, and I was happy to engage her. So obviously, she was very energetic and probably doing all sorts of positions and really seducing him. Well, she was on birth control. I had a condom, and it was all good. Thinking back on it, I probably should have figured something was up. But I was barely handling 2 kids and work on top of a household and yard work and everything else. Well, I came home from work one day while the kids were at their grandparents' house. My wife had a huge smile on her face, and she sat me down and showed me a positive pregnancy test, literally dancing in joy. What a snake. You can't have a relationship, a marriage, without trust. And she broke his trust. My first thought was, oh shit. That's what my dad said when he found out my mom was pregnant with my sister. He didn't want any more kids after me. He already had kids with the previous marriage, then he had me, and he thought he was done. And let's just say he didn't react well. Of course, my mom was like, ah! So they had my sister. My wife noticed a less than happy expression on my face and started screaming at me. She berated me for not being supportive and that this was a quote-unquote miracle from God, and I should be grateful. I said I was sorry and hugged her and said I was super excited for the baby. Smack! Dude, no, don't let her berate you. She's not your mom. Don't take that shit. And guess what? Wasn't a miracle from Jesus. She was making her own destiny by poking holes and going out to birth control. My wife was delighted, and later that night she was calling all her family and friends to happily tell them the good news. When she was talking about the nursery and how we'd convert my office into a room, I started to get a little suspicious. Oh, hell no. His office now is going to another room for a kid? This is a 1-2 punch here. Everything was so well thought out, and it seemed like she'd been planning this for a while. There you go, brother. When she was asleep, I took the condoms out of the cupboard and ran them underwater. Holes. I cannot believe he did not see this coming. He didn't want to. Well, I nabbed her phone and saw she set a password. That was odd. Nevertheless, my wife has terrible memory, so I tried her birthday and opened it. Her password to her phone is her birthday. That's just about as bad as Spaceballs with the whole fucking password for Druidia being 12345. What a dumbass. Further up were texts with her best friend and my wife complaining about how I wouldn't come around. Her best friend suggested arrange an accident with a winky face. My wife agreed and said that she was going to come off the birth control. I went on for a little while, ending with my wife saying yes, we were going to have a third. Goodbye. It's over. You can't do this marriage without trust. Sure, I'm going to assume this baby is indeed his. He can be a great father to that kid, but not married to the mother. So I woke her up immediately and asked if this had really been a miracle. She got the deer in the headlights look and burst into tears. The oldest trick in the book. Hobag Handbook Chapter 2, Bring on the Waterworks. She wailed and then she got angry. Through tears, she screamed that I had no right to go through her phone, and it's her choice whether or not she wants to take a BC. And side effects are bad when she was sick. BC's birth control. She also brought up really didn't want a third kid, and I should have had a vasectomy. Blaming it on him. Well, if you don't want a third kid, vasectomy. In some states, you can't get a vasectomy without your wife's permission. Otherwise, it's going to be a big problem. Do you think really she would have been given her blessing for that? Fat chance. And she's talking about birth control making her sick. How sick is she going to be for 9 months with morning sickness and probably afternoon sickness and evening sickness? And then labor. That'll make you sick. Oh yeah, then when the baby's born, all the freaking diapers and duty and all the other shit. No pun intended. It's been 2 weeks since then. Government's recommended to stay at home. This is during COVID. This is an older story, by the way. And I knew staying home by myself was also working with 2 kids would not be ideal, and she wanted to see our kids. So we're in the same house. She constantly keeps on stopping me and trying to get me excited for our kid and planning the nursery and names and how happy our kids will be to get a younger sibling. I've been ignoring her entirely. Gray Rock, I'd be doing it too. Time to prepare your exit, my man. This is not going to work. You can't be in a relationship without trust. She violated that. And again, I said, meant to pay attention to all your wives' friends. What should I do? Staying home with her is bad enough, and I don't know if I should leave her over this. I don't trust her anymore. She entirely betrayed it. I'm angry, but I have another child on the way. It's up to you, man. But she gets away with this. Guess what? There's going to be a 4th one. You can get a vasectomy and lock your condoms up some way, somehow. It'll just be the fucking Amazon Prime driver's baby or something like that. She'll get another one. And she's got to treat you like shit. Because she's like, I got power over this guy. You can raise your kids. You can raise the 3rd one separated. Make it happen. And it can be pretty, but the kids are little. they'll deal. Now, a few comments here, extra comments before we get to the update. He also says, I exaggerated my saying all. I wasn't next to her counting them off. I just heard her make a lot of phone calls. I'll explain the timeline a little bit too. This whole situation took place. My son is 2 years old, and I mentioned how the third child talks started when he turned 1 year old. At the time, my wife sat me down, and I said no. She got angry and then apologized later, and we had you-know-what. We continued to have you-know-what until the day she took the positive test and got pregnant. She told me immediately and began telling family. I noticed her behavior being weird, and a couple of days later, I checked to see if her being pregnant was intentional. It was. 2 weeks had gone by since then, and we're here right now. The entire story is roughly about a year from when my son turned 1 to 2 years old, but she didn't get pregnant until much later. She gets excited really fast, and my other kids were low risk, so I guess she wasn't thinking it was a miscarriage risk, and she took multiple tests to confirm that it wasn't a false positive. Freaking snake. She's going to throw away all this. A good marriage, just because it's her way or the highway, has to have that additional child. And this guy thought, I got a great life. What can go wrong? Drama, drama, drama. They love it. Thing is, she thought he would never do what he's going to do in the next update. He also says her phone password is not particularly hard to guess. She has a bad memory and always puts the easiest things down, blah, blah, blah. 2, she took multiple pregnancy tests, and I'm assuming she got excited. Both other pregnancies are relatively low risk. 3, our kids were at their grandparents' on Friday afternoons. They go to their grandparents, and we picked them up on Saturday morning. She went because I told her to leave. She went to her parents' house. 4, she wasn't gone too long, and there was no official divorce or anything. I just told the kids she went away for a little bit. I dropped the kids off at her parents, where she was so she could see them. 5, she did come home. There's no reason Corona, as in COVID, would stop her from coming home. I just didn't want to see her because I was planning on starting the divorce proceedings. But whenever it was put on the isolation, she had to come back. Now, the update. He says, to start off, yes, I get how this looks. There are a lot of comments calling BS. Calling it MRA fiction is perfectly balanced and so on. Yeah, I know, my life feels like a joke right now. You know, no matter what, you could put what could be considered a very common situation on Reddit, and somebody's going to call it a BS story. Is it that far-fetched? Really? That some people call this BS, that a wife got pregnant on purpose against her husband's wishes? Newsflash, happens all the time. He says, honestly, there's little point in trying to defend it because, first of all, if you don't reply to comments saying it's wrong, you're intentionally ignoring them because they're right, and if you do, you're trying way too hard to patch up the holes. It doesn't really matter what I say. You guys won't believe me. And at this point, it doesn't even matter because I'm looking for advice. I don't care what you think is true. In other words, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't with Reddit. Well, there's a lot of good people on Reddit, and there's also a lot of wackos and trolls. People have nothing else to do but troll people. Let's start from the beginning. The wife is still at home. I'm going out of my mind. The kids don't understand what's happening and keep on asking why I won't talk to mommy. It's been close to a month since then. I've been following the advice I saw. I lied and said that I was going for a drive. She tried to come along, but it's a 2-person limit per car, and who's looking after the kids? Do you hear that? 2-person limit per car. COVID. He must be in a blue state. Massachusetts was psycho in 2020, but not that psycho. I called my dad's best friend. She's a lawyer, and told her everything. Here we go. I screenshotted the text and sent it to myself, and at nighttime I asked her to talk and press my phone on record, and I asked her why she did it, and she went on about completing our family, and how we need a third child, and she knows I'll love them more than anything when they're born. Right there, he recorded his wife admitting what she was doing. She apologized profusely as well and told me she knew she hadn't gone about it in the right way and she should have accepted it, and I'm within my rights to do what I want, but please stay for the kid. And now that it's on the way, we can take it positively. No, you see right there. I know she said, basically, he's within his right to do what he wants to do. Let's see what she says about that when the divorce papers are dropped in her lap. Anyway, that brings us to today. I'm back on civil terms with the wife, and I started acting like everything's okay between us. She's happy. The kids are happy and exciting for the new kid or sibling. Everything's going well. Everything is going great except the divorce being planned. I got the evidence and I've got the lawyer and I'm preparing to present her with the papers. I've talked to my lawyer about how it's going to go because of quarantine and where we are technically is being used. Online documents and video conferencing, this thing called ADR. Yeah, I gotta tell you guys, when he presents the divorce papers to her, and she has a meltdown, and she'll have a meltdown, let me tell you, if she gets so worked up and has I'm sorry to say, miscarriage, she is going to get everybody under the sun to blame him. So I hope that doesn't happen. And of course I don't want that to happen because I don't want the poor child to die, but you get my point. But she's going to go scorched earth. It's going to be an ugly divorce. That's pretty much it. I've got all my ducks in a row. My wife doesn't know anything. I think I'm doing fine, but I have a lot of doubt. Every day when we go to bed, she kisses me, and when she thinks I'm asleep, she always whispers about how she loves me. Waking up next to her is sad because I know time is running out. Smack! Stay the course, dude. She's love bombing you. She knows she fucked up. She knows she deceived you. And and remember, women aren't stupid. She could certainly possibly think that you're planning your exit. She always makes me breakfast in the morning. She hugs me all throughout the day. She's happy and close with me and thinks all her problems are solved, and I feel so guilty for what I'm doing. Smack! You think she felt guilty? Deceiving you, having another kid, another mouth to feed, taking your office. More of your money has to go. You're obviously going to have to work harder or take on a second job to maintain the same standard of living. Do you think she felt bad about that? Don't you feel bad here? It just feels like everything's going so smoothly. The kids are enjoying the quarantine, and we're all doing stuff together as a family, and I'm just about to drop a nuclear bomb on all this. I kind of hate that everything's going so well, and how happy everyone is. I just want to make everything that goes ahead comfortable for my kids and for my wife. Any advice on this? Well, he's going to have more comments here. Yeah, stay the course. There's a reason you wanted to end it with her in the first place. And yeah, everything's going smoothly because you stopped giving her, you're now talking to her. You're putting on an act. If she knew how you really felt, it wouldn't be so happy. I guarantee you that. So man, stay the course, for God's sakes. Now I'm going to read some commentary here, and that's wrapping it up where it is, but he's done with her. I read a few comments in more of his words. One guy says, your kids won't understand and you are damaging their childhood. This is some people giving him shit. Have you seen the impact of divorce on kids? Apart from this, you love your wife and family, get a vasectomy. A third baby is on the way, and you have every right to be resentful, but you'd be surprised how many women slip up in an oops baby. She did it on purpose. He has proof she did it on purpose, and he can't trust her. You definitely need therapy, and she has behaved atrociously, but I'm putting the kids first. They won't understand. She'll more than likely have main custody. I'm sad for you. I'd stay and try to work it out. Easy to say on Reddit, yeah, divorce a toxic cow and get full custody. That's not how reality works. Well, he's not going to get full custody, I guarantee you that, but he can't stay in this marriage with her. Okay? And believe me, she's putting on the love bombing thing to keep him around. But this person here doesn't understand when parents are resentful of each other, the kids know. Now listen to how he responds. He says, actually, I do have experience with divorce. My parents stayed together for the kids and waited for my youngest brother to turn 18. By the time my parents got divorced, we were all miserable. The day they announced it was the happiest of our lives. That's the only thing that kept me going. I don't want my kids to have a childhood like mine. Better two happy households than one miserable one, right? See, he's been through this. He's not doing that to his kids, what he went through. And interestingly, he probably married a woman just like his mom. This is from a woman. She says, but before I go F myself, let me ask you a question. Why do you think divorce is the answer? Do you truly think you won't get over and love the new baby? Do you resent and hate your wife this much? Will you regret your actions? Believe it or not, I do actually care about what happens to people, and while I'm usually fast to tell people to split when miserable, there's something about your posts that make me feel like you are not totally honest with yourself. I don't know, could you be wrong? Another woman trying to get him to stay together. And he says, I'll 100% love the new baby more than anything. I love them now. They're still my kid, and it's not their fault. It's my wife's fault. I'm not going to lie. I'm doubtful. I still love her much more than anything in this world. Smack. No, you love who you think she is. I love her so much, if she cheated, we may have been able to get past this. Smack! That's a stupid idea. But this is past cheating. She brought a child into the world, one she knew I did not want. She violated my rights and my opinions. If she did something like this once, how can I not trust her to do it again? You're darn right she'll do it again. And say he stayed with her, I bet you he's living in a state where he has to get the wife's permission to get a vasectomy. There are locations like that. She'll say, nope. You want some pussy? You better play, pal. One of the biggest reasons I'm doing this is for my kids. My parents waited for my youngest to turn 18, and by then we were miserable. The day they got divorced, I was the happiest in my life, blah, 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 because they hated each other. I'll never do that to my kids. Divorce hurts kids, but a miserable household hurts them even more. We knew our parents hate each other's guts from a young age. Kids pick up on things. Thank you. They freaking men, but you're going to get all kinds of opinions. So there you go, guys. I've said this a million times, and I'll say it again. Whether you are in a regular relationship with a girlfriend, or you are having a lot of fun, and you got a rotation of girls you're seeing, or you're married and you don't want kids in any of those scenarios, always bring your protection, always wear protection, and dispose your protection. And don't ever buy I'm on the pill nonsense, because you can see right here what can happen. Years ago, I knew a number of people that all got married except for one couple. They're all in their 30s. And as far as I knew, those gals that were buddies of mine, all different age ranges, never had a kid before or anything like that, or any scares. But magically, after years of being on the pill, they all magically seemed to get pregnant. And we're like, how did this happen? Because they were on the pill. Well, gee, how do you think it happened? And guess what? Every single one of those guys ended up marrying the girl. One of them didn't for a long time, but he eventually did. They got what they wanted. So this is the point. This happens, guys. This is just people I know and I'm acquainted with. I'm sure everybody here watching this knows at least one guy that happened to. How did it happen? Must have been a miracle. No. She was ready for the kid. And magically, the kid was there. And Jesus had nothing to do with it. So guys, just be careful. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And if you like the video, share it with your friends and subscribe. Catch you next time.